How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Howard Berg with us, and you are for a treat because he's they listed in the 1990 Guinness Book of World Records for reading more than 25,000 words a minute and writing more than 100 words a minute. So probably one of the fastest speedy reading in the planet. So Howard, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, I am the fastest.
Are you? Wow.
I'm not one of the, I am the fastest. Well, one of them is reading. You could see there's a lot of books. With many people go into business, they're lacking certain skills. They're good at what they do. You're a plumber, you know how to fix plumbing. You're an electrician, you know how to fix wiring. But the secret to business is marketing, knowing how to communicate, find customers, create marketing documents. How are you going to do that? You have to read. I could read 10 books in 3 hours. So if you read 10 books, you have a business plan. Or maybe it's an area of business you want to expand in. Well, don't start from scratch. Find people who've already done what you're trying to do and written books on what they did. Now, one book, maybe they got lucky. 10 books doing what you dream of doing by people doing it successfully, that's a business plan. I had an 84-year-old read 3 books in 3 hours. So a normal person could at least do 3 books in 3 hours. So imagine if every day you read 3 books. Well, by the end of the week, you've had 21 new skills that you in your business. What would that do to your business? Say, well, where do I find 3 hours? Instead of watching someone hit a ball, catch a ball, build your business. And then when you're very rich, buy a team. You can watch all you want, but you can either watch other people have a life or have one yourself. So that would be 3 things right there. Another one that I think is critical in any business is relationships, of having people you work with. It's the key to success. It's not what you know as much as who you know, who you work with, their connections. I have an affiliate program, so it would be mrreader.com/affiliate. And the affiliates do a lot of the marketing for me, and they make money. That's how you have affiliates stick. You have to make money. If they don't make money, they're not interested. But you want other people referring you and making money from it. And it's the people you know are critical in forming a network of people. So for me, anyone with a list, if you're teaching them something, they have to know something, they need to learn something, well, you could help them learn faster and better with my program and get paid for it. So you win by selling it, and you win by having people not complain to you. They don't know what you're teaching them. So that's an example for me. But for everyone, how can other people benefit by helping you and make it good for them to help you in some way reward them with a referral, some kind of a fee, and automate it so you don't have to sit around worrying about the mechanics of the program. It's done by software. And every month you just look at who you owe money to, press a button, and PayPal pays them, and you're done. But that's very important. Another thing that's important is media. You want to be on shows. I've been on over 3,000 shows.
Wow.
Before podcasts, now it's like probably 5,000. But shows are a great way to get your message out. Now imagine taking an ad on the Super Bowl. It's a lot of money. It costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise on a big show. But if you're the guest, they're actually going to listen. If you're advertising, they're going to record the show and press fast forward while your advertisement's playing that you spend 6 figures or more to put on the air. But they're not going to fast forward the interview, because that's why they came to the show. And
Mhm.
while you're on the interview, you're talking about things they want to know. And one of the things they want to know
100%.
is, how can you help me?
Exactly.
Sounds like something
100%.
I want to learn. Sounds like something I could benefit from. Sounds like something will help me make more money. Well, how can I get involved? And so it's a free advertisement. So you want to be on as many shows as possible. You want to get into print media. I did an interview on a newspaper in San Antonio, and it was the library section. The library section. And I was like, what could I expect from an interview from
Mhm.
San Antonio? It's a decent sized city, but the library section, not the front page, 196 sales from that interview. 196 sales.
Wow.
So you never know. And so print media is good. Uh, anything getting my program sells to students, among other markets. Students get higher grades, professionals make more money, and seniors stay mentally fit. So I go on college shows. I go on, and they're thrilled. They get a celebrity speaker on a college station that nobody wants to be on, but I want to be on it because their audience is my client. So media is super important. And you want to read books on how do you do an interview. I'll give an example. 19 early 90s, I got a call from Nightingale Conant, which at the time was the largest uh, maker of audio programs like Audible is now. That's what Nightingale Conant was. And he said, we want to make your program and sell it on television. Sounds good. What am I supposed to? If Audible called you up and says, we want to feature you on Audible and we're
Mhm.
going to make a big thing out of it, you'd probably say, that sounds good. So I said, sure. So they flew me into Chicago. There's no script, there's no rehearsal, there's no editing. They talk like we are for
Mhm.
28 minutes and 30 seconds. One person asks questions, you answer it. You do it right, it works. You don't do it right, it doesn't. It made $65 million. So
Wow.
if you worked for 28 minutes and 30 minutes and made $65 million, that's no, of course, I didn't get 65 million. I was the author. I got the
Absolutely.
author royalty. If I made the
Yeah.
65 million, I private island right now. But I sold $65 million. It was
In
the
that
whole,
program. Wow. That's
how
fantastic.
did I do? I learned how to do it by reading books by people who did it.
So
That's
how these to these books really fast? When do you learn this?
Well, it started when I was very young. I lived in a very, very bad part of New York. I lived in the projects in Brooklyn. It was like the movie West Side Story without the music and the dancing. I met the gangs, they had knives, and they weren't smiling.
Wow.
I found the safest place in my neighborhood was the library. Kids in gangs don't go to libraries, no matter what. The one place you say it's like a church and a vampire. The
Mhm.
kids in gangs, you've never seen them in a library, hanging out with books. It's just not what they do. So I was safe
So you
there.
had the
So I
whole
read.
space for you, right? You were very comfortable there, yeah.
And I had college reading when I was 11 because that's what I did because it was safe. Wasn't that didn't want to do anything else, but anything else, you got beat up or mugged
Hmm.
or hurt. And it happened over 100 times. I was
Wow.
pistol whipped. I had knives to my throat. I was beat with bats. And that was just normal. That was where I had a knife to my throat in school. I don't even think I told my
Wow.
parents. It was just another school for me. I just came home and did my homework. I never even said, someone tried to kill me today with a knife. It wasn't even, it was just a school day. It was another day of school.
Wow.
Yeah, that was how I grew up. So when I was 17, I went to the State University of New York, Binghamton, which is like the top state college. And I majored in biology, but in the second half of my junior year, I told the dean I want to major in psychology too. There's a field in bio called psychobiology, not
Mhm.
psychotic biology, that's Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Psychobiology
yeah,
is
yeah.
learning and how does the brain work. So the dean looked at me and said, you only have 1 year left. You haven't had any psych courses. You have to do a 4-year program in 1 year. You also have to finish the bio program. You'll need
Mhm.
to take 6 science courses a term, 2 4-hour labs. The lab reports were on a slide rule. It took 16 hours. And he looked at, and I had 3 jobs. I was working 3 jobs. And he looked at me and said, "You're not smart enough." And that's when I realized they never taught me how to learn. And so when I was learning about the brain, I used what I learned and I got to 80 pages a minute. I did
Wow.
the program in 1 year, all of it.
Really?
And I
Wow.
took the GRE in biology, which is like the SAT for graduate school. And I read 48 books in 3 nights, like organic, like biochemistry, cell physiology, genetics, plant systematics, not light reading. And I got 3 questions wrong, so I was in the 99th percentile in the world. And then I said, I could teach this. So I started teaching it. And I had kids as young as 11 going to college, getting A's. And I was working with companies, the military, trained the Royal Thai Army in Bangkok, the U.S. Special Forces in Fort Bragg, the Green Berets. And it's been really fun. I travel all over the world. I meet interesting people and I teach them how to master information. No one wants to read fast. That's a waste. What you want is to fast,
Mhm.
understand things,
Mhm.
and use it to build your business. That's really what people want. They want to learn the information they made decisions with better and faster because they're busy. And that's really what it's about. Reading isn't, to me, reading's a screwdriver.
Mhm.
It's not exciting. What's exciting is what happens when you learn something and you use it, like the $65 million commercial. I used what I learned and it worked.
Mhm. Wow. But then you won't believe, but one of my friends is a speedy reading coach. Yes, he's I train him how to speak in public. He lives in France. His name is Alex Garces. He teach people how to read fast and also how to get to a float state. And it's exactly what you say. When you are, if you are able to absorb more information, you definitely have an advantage. From all the 500 millionaires that we
Yeah,
have interviewed in this show, they all love books. I have to say that very rare we find a successful entrepreneur that they are always surrounded by books. They have recommended a lot of amazing books in this show, Stockholm, and because like I always say, right, the difference between you are right now and where you want to be is just what you know, because the
that's it.
person that is already when they know something that you don't. Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
take any of the millionaires out there, pick any of them. Yeah,
yeah,
and you can take all the money, can take all the clothes, can take everything, can leave them on the street. Guarantee you 2 3 years down the line maximum, they already back with the
right
million
back again. Well,
because
Oprah
they know
reads a book a
they
day. Bill Gates reads a book a day. Warren Buffett reads a book a day. Elon
any
Musk reads two
success
books a day.
any
Look at their
success
bank account. Look at their bank account. So ask
absolutely.
yourself what happens when you read.
Yeah,
I made $65 million from reading. To me, it's a no-brainer. It's the key to succeeding in a based economy. What's between your ears is the only job security you'll ever have. And if you're an entrepreneur, you have to know a lot.
I
Besides knowing what you do, you have to know how to sell it and market it and present it and do public speaking and write copy, or at least know the right people to hire and know that they're doing it right. But unless you learn a lot of skills, your business won't succeed. You'll be very, very talented and no one will hire you.
Yeah. So how you feel how when someone told you that you're the best in the world? It's like being an Olympic champion, right? It's like being a
Yeah,
world champion. Yeah. So how do you feel when man I'm the best in the world this? And
it's
something so
so
amazing, which is my girlfriend, she's right behind on the screen. She owns a book
oh,
publishing company. So she will love to make the interview. She has a very successful podcast also, and she will love to have you in on her podcast. So yeah, she owns a book publishing company. I wrote several books, and she's also written several books as well. So I'm a big fan of this type of speedy reading fast and memory techniques. However, exactly what you said is all to most important is like you say, it's not reading fast, but absorb the content. But just imagine exactly with tell us again because I want to know. Yeah. So how many books can you read in 8 hours?
Well, I wouldn't read for 8 hours because in three
It's
hours I could
tiring,
read
yeah.
I could read 10 books in 3 hours.
Wow, 10 books in 3 hours. That's
And that's
very
enough.
that's
If
very
you try to read more
impressive.
than that, you're not going to remember anything. So
You gotta say, wow. But then,
I also write there. I wrote my last book in 5 hours and
wow,
it #1 on Amazon the next day. Reading is input, writing is output.
well, the writing is also very difficult.
It's
So,
similar to reading. And one, you're taking the information and putting it in your brain, and the other, you're taking information in your brain and writing it. So the two skills are
how about
really
two
the
two
same
years
thing.
to learn the skill? Because at the end of the day, skill. The more you practice, the better you
Well, I
become.
teach it. I have a free book if people want a book on learning. It's HowieBook.fun. It's a free book on learning. And if they want to take a program, it's Howie reading.live. I have a live a month and
Wow.
I could teach a normal person how to do this in 4 hours and they will be 100% faster in 4 hours and know what they read and remember it. I had an 84-year-old
Wow.
read
Wow.
3 books in 3 hours right after I taught her. And she was 84. My oldest student was 92. She was 100%. And my youngest student was 8, and she was reading 5 seconds a page and retaining it. So if you're
Wow.
between 8 and 92, and most of your audience
It's
is, I'm
suitable.
pretty sure there aren't any embryos watching us right now. So if you're between 8 and 92, I can make it easier to learn and understand and use information, which is really all your business is using what you know to make money. That's what entrepreneurs do. Whether it's a skill or they teach or they coach, whatever it is they're doing, it's using what they know to make a living. And if you know more, you're going to make more. That's just how it works. Learners are earners.
And then Howard, this one thing is to read fast, the other thing is understand, and the other thing is design a program
Understanding.
and design a program so you can teach others. Because you one thing is that you can do it, but can you teach others to do it? Um,
Would you like
uh,
to see how understanding works? And I could show you that.
so you can share it.
Yeah.
You can share it with us. Tell us.
One of the keys, because I took all those courses about the brain, and
Wow.
what I learned is how the brain can read. So I'm going to read a passage, and it's missing something called schema. Schema is the key to learning. I'm going to show you how it works. So this is no schema, and look how confusing it is. This is an easy thing to do. If possible, you could do it at home, but you could always go someplace else if it's necessary. Beware of overdoing it. This is a major mistake. It may cost you quite a bit of money. And you don't have any idea what I'm talking about because there's no schema. I'm going to read it again. One word, a title, one word has schema, and watch how instantly it makes sense. The same words. Laundry. This is an easy thing to do. If possible, you could do it at home, but you could always go someplace else if it's necessary. Beware of overdoing it. This is a major mistake and can cost you quite a bit of money. By teaching people where the words are,
Ah,
the
wow. Really powerful
information makes sense, they could go quicker and still understand very difficult material because they're
concepts.
using the brain's decoding system and they are conscious of what it is and how it works and where it is in the book. And now they're able to go much faster and still understand. And then I show them how to remember. If you'd like, I could demonstrate that too.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So there are a
Absolutely.
lot of ways to remember. I'll show you one. I'm going to give you 10 things, and I'm not going to show you how, and it's not going to be nice. You won't remember it. Then I'll show you how, and instantly you'll know everything you couldn't learn. You ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Audience, do this with me. So you want to remember pole, shoes, tricycle, car, glove, gun, dice, skate, cat, and bowling pins. And if I said, tell me the 10 things backwards, right now you look at me and say, I don't know 10. Maybe you know two or three, maybe four, but that's about it. I'll show you the secret. This is one secret. There are many. The ancient Greeks found a speedway to learn a list. This is a list. Take a list you know and link it to the list you're learning. I'm going to bet people watching your show can count to 10. I feel confident this is true. That means those things are hanging in their brain already. And we're going to hang the new list on the 10 things they know super fast. One thing is important. When I ask you to repeat it. Don't listen, do it. You don't learn by reading alone. Remember, 10% of what you read, 90% of what you say and do. This is a tool. I'm teaching you a tool. It's not a drill. It's an actual tool. I want you to remember. No start. The number one looks like a pole, like a flagpole. When I say one, you say pole. One.
All.
Excellent. And if you're at home watching, do this. Two is shoes. You wear two shoes. What's two?
Shoes.
What's one?
All.
Excellent.
Oh, wow.
Three,
I'm remembering.
you're going to remember all 10 in 3 minutes. Three is a tricycle. Three wheels. Tricycle. What's three?
Tricycle.
What's two?
Shoes.
What's one?
All. Wow.
Great. Four is a car. Four tires on a car. What's four?
Wow.
Two.
Shoes.
One.
All.
Three.
Tricycle.
Getting easier. Five is the glove. There's 5 fingers in a glove. What's five?
Glove.
Three.
Tricycle.
One.
Ball.
6 gun. They love them in Texas. The Cowboys. 6 gun. What's 6?
Gun.
4.
Car.
2.
Shoes.
Excellent. Lucky 7 in dice. You want a 7. Lucky 7 in dice. What's 7?
Lucky dice.
5. Giving you a clue.
Gloves.
3.
Tricycle.
1.
Ball.
Almost done. Rhymes work. Say 8 skate.
8 skate.
What's 8?
Skate.
6. What did they love in Texas?
Oh, this one I forgot because I don't know the word.
Cowboys. What are cowboys like?
6. Ball.
The
No,
gun.
this one.
The gun.
The gun. Gun.
6 shooter. Okay. 4.
4 is the car.
2.
Shoes.
We're almost done. 9. How many lives does a cat have?
9.
9. So what's 9?
Cats.
Lucky 7 in the game of
Dice.
5.
Gloves.
3.
Tricycle.
1.
Ball.
10. How many bowling
Whoa.
pins? How many bowling pins are in a bowling alley on a lane?
10.
What's 10?
Bowling.
1.
Ball.
2.
Shoes.
3.
Tricycle.
4.
Car.
5.
Gloves.
6. Texas.
Texas. Yeah, I don't know the word of this one. I don't remember.
The gun.
Gun. Yeah.
Lucky 7.
7 dice.
8 rhymes with
Rhymes. Skate.
9 lives.
Of a cat.
10. The game
The
of.
bowling. Bowling.
Now, you just learned how to learn numbers. I'm going to show you how to
And
use
English is not my first language.
it. This will work in other languages, by the way.
Yeah.
This will show you how to speed learn numbers. So let's say you're in a hotel and your room is 314. By the time you go to the lobby, you don't know what number the room is. 3 is a tricycle. 1 is a pole. 4 is a car. Make a movie. A tricycle hits a pole on a car. A tricycle hits a pole on a car. What number is tricycle?
3.
Hits a pole
1.
on a car.
4.
That's your hotel. Tricycle, pole, car. And so you could use it in math because it's pi. the number for measuring a circle. And the zero, the picture for zero is the 10 bowling pins. So you have 1 to 9, and 10 is the zero. And now, anytime you have to learn a number, find the picture, line them up, make a
And made the
movie out of the
story.
pictures. Think of the pictures, you'll remember the number.
Wow, Howard, that's fantastic.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you
That's what
so
I
much.
teach. Remember, they the whole system at howiereading.live, and there's a free book, howiebook.fun. So whether they want a free
And
book
then you're
or
gonna
they
have a
want to
lot of
take,
fun. And then you have fun learning because that's the other thing. It's not about learn and nobody wants to be in front of us and going back to school.
no,
But
no, no.
the
It
way
has to
that
be fun. It has,
yes,
you don't
it's like
learn, it's fun. When it's
yeah,
fun and you're
absolutely.
laughing, you learn. When it's a bell gonna ring, let me out of here. This is what school was like. Make it stop.
Nobody wants exactly. Nobody wants
Nobody
to learn.
wants that.
I do a lot of talks all over about this. One of the things that we speak all over the world is learning and
This will work
accelerated
in more than one
learning.
language. This will
Yeah,
work in multiple languages because I've had students in all parts of the world and they learn it in English, but they use it in other languages. It works just as well in the other languages.
exactly. And the more fun they have, because learning requires energy, and if you're having fun, if you're smiling, then is the learning process is easy. But at the end of the day, everything that we want in our lives, uh, everything that we want in our life is about knowledge, about information. Yeah. People out there, they say, oh, a lot of people that are concerned, a lot of entrepreneurs, why my business is not growing? Well, if your business is not growing, there is a piece of information missing. So where can you find this piece of information? You can find it in a coach, you can find it in a mentor, or you can find it in books. Yeah.
Thank you.
And
And
if
you know something, even if you find it in a video or an audio, you still have to learn it. You still need to
absolutely,
learn it. And so I don't
absolutely.
just teach books. I teach learning. It turns out it's not just books. It's podcasts, it's videos, it's audios, it's going to class, it's learning. Nobody wants to read, they want to learn. And so
Exactly.
I'm showing them how learning works. It turns out they can read very fast and it's not just books, it's ebooks, reading a Kindle, reading a laptop, reading a computer screen. Many people don't read books, they read on their computer. It's still reading, and there's ways of doing it to be able to learn faster and better.
And going to my next question, because this is we have problems in the schools all over the world where 30% of the students have the high mark. Half of the students they are so, and the other rest of the students they have no good. And this is
That's a good
a
school.
this is a global problem. But the
Yes.
reason, but and I asked, and the people say, well, is the teacher is blamed for. And other people say, no, it's not the teacher's fault, it's the student's fault. So it's not the teacher's fault or the student's fault. It's the system. The way that they're learning is the way that they are learning is conditioned in a way only to succeed. Because we teach and we give conference about accelerated learning. And when we do a conference, you can see behind my screen, when we have 1,000 people, I need the 1,000 people to learn what I'm talking about, not only 30%. So the way that I teach, the way that I learn, the way that I speak, the way that I address the audience, we use techniques to make sure that 100% of the audience understand and learn what I'm talking about. However, in the school system, apparently it's convenient to teach in a way so we have 30% of people that don't get the highest mark because somebody need to sweep the roads, or somebody we need people with low mark, because otherwise who's gonna do the manual work? However,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I don't think that is fair. Well, in my opinion, what is fair is that we can teach a system like yours where everybody has the ability to learn. Yes, it doesn't matter if you're kinesthetic or auditory. or visual, like the education system, for example,
Exactly, exactly.
is a system which is auditory. For example, I'm a visual. I find out that I have this problem because
Yes, I
I'm
hear
a,
from the way you speak, you're very
from the
visual.
way that I speak, and you can see my background very colorful. I need to see
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
I
I'm
saw your
speaking slow.
books.
So I'm a visual. And as a speaker to slow down because
Is
not everyone is.
exactly. So, but I'm a visual learner, and but when I want going to school, the school is mainly for auditories. Like for example, my brother, he's an auditor. He speaks 5 languages, and he's on top of the class. My girlfriend
School is
Lily,
shut up and listen.
yeah, my girlfriend Lily again. She speaks 5 languages. She's auditory, so and she has high mark in school. However, as the visuals, we are challenged because when we sit and we listen to the teacher talk and talk and talk, if there is no an image, if there is color going on, we already start to look at the window. We already get
Yes,
distracted,
yes,
and some
yes,
people can say that we have
exactly.
deficit attention disorder. No, we don't have any of this. We just learn in a different way. I have a friend. He had been professor in Harvard and in Oxford in London. True story. In United Kingdom, he has twins, and he's telling me he's a professor. Yeah, and he's telling me, Harry, my kids, they are not even 1 minute difference. One of the other one. Minutes of difference, one. And they told me, and they learn totally different. One, they both, by the way, those kids, they are, my friend is a big fan of this accelerated learning. His 2 kids, they were the youngest graduated. They have been the youngest graduated in United Kingdom of the ESO of the first. So they were, but he told me, and he telling me that they both learn totally different. Whether one is need to be in YouTube and I need to see the videos, I have to engage, I have to see the other one. I have a different way of learning, so they are all amazing students. They both graduate in record time. They have record time and graduating in UK, but they learn totally different one or the other, which is proof that if to a person you can teach in a way that is easy for that person to learn, the person will learn faster. And what we have to do in the schools is to, when we're giving lessons, try to accommodate it for everybody, so everybody have the a fair chance to succeed. So, what's your opinion on all this? It makes sense, or
Absolutely
maybe
right.
I'm crazy?
When I owned a school, if before we taught science, English, math, anything, how do you learn? The first thing we taught was how do you learn? They were doing college classes at 11. I'll give you a couple of examples. Stephen graduated University of Texas at Arlington at 16, finished his bachelor's degree, 4.0, all A's, majored in economics, got a master's in math at 19 at OU with a 397 GPA, all A's, 1B. Brad became an attorney in California at 19. He passed the bar. Justin was an 11-year-old C student. He was an English professor at 22. By teaching them how to learn, learning became easy. We did a thing with
Wow.
kids. There was 18 kids. You gave them a 30 chapter book in lifelong developmental psychology, which is a sophomore college book. In 1 week, they did the whole book. They took the advanced placement test. 15 out of 18 got sophomore college psych credit in 1 week. In 1 week. And we had them write. They did 28-page reports. And we had it in a graduate school. And so out of the 15, it was 18 kids, two got second year graduate credit, two got first year graduate credit, and the rest got senior college credit. And the person grading thought they were college students in graduate school. And he says they were a little below our standards. We were a graduate program. We said, well, the oldest one you graded was 15. So senior college writing skills at 11 to 15, not too shabby. And he was like, oh my God, I had no idea. That's what we did. We taught them how to think We never gave them the answer. They had to figure it out. We gave them clues. We showed them how it's done, but we never told them the answer. And if they couldn't figure it out, we gave them more and more clues till they figured it out. So they had to be able to learn and think on their own, like an entrepreneur. So they started a company. One of the kids had Down syndrome. Their brother had Down syndrome. So they started a charity, Adopt a Mouse. And in their first year, they built a website by themselves, reading a book. They did
Wow.
public speaking. How much do you think 11 to 15-year-olds made in 1 year?
I don't know.
93,000 US dollars in 1 year.
Wow.
And they won the Silver Pyramid. That's the Oscars in advertising once a year in Vegas. They
Wow.
beat Rotary. They beat the Cross,
In
the
advertising.
best
Wow.
not-for-profit company in America. They were 11 to 15 years old. That's what
Wow.
happens.
Very impressive.
What is an entrepreneur want? These are kid entrepreneurs making $93,000 their first year, and they're 11 to 15 years old. That's what I do. By the way, I see you have an event. If you ever need a speaker, let me know. I speak all over the world, and I would love to do that.
I
I love speaking.
I
I
bet
love
you
what I
do.
do. It makes me feel good when I'm in people. And I know you know the feeling when they actually learn what you're telling them, and
Oh,
you know
absolutely. You can see in their
it's
eyes. And it's
it's
the best thing that you can do for people is to,
like you feel like it's
yeah,
your kids. It just feels so good knowing you gave them a gift, and they're gonna
yeah,
do so much better in their lives from that gift. It's just there's no
yeah.
money that can make up for that.
I agree 100% with you. Like sometimes when I'm in London, I'm in the metro and the I always colorful like this, so very difficult that people can miss me. And they are sitting and they look, "Well, Harry, is that you? Man, I saw your conference 2 years ago." I said, when? Where? Yeah, Dad, I was there, man. And I learned this from you. And look, this is my business and this is my family, and I'm doing great. Thank you so much and everything. Let's take a picture. And sometimes when this happens, it's a little bit embarrassing because it's in front of everyone. But when I arrive home, I said, man, it's unbelievable that I make the difference of someone's life, and I didn't even remember know what I say or when I say it, but they do, and they apply it, and they make a big difference, and they fulfillment. So that give you there is I agree with you. There is no money that can pay.
No, it's not.
Uh, Money will
Oh,
make you happy. People think that making a million is gonna make them happy. I
no,
can tell
no.
you that that is not gonna might make your life easy in some ways, but it's not gonna give you happiness. Fulfillment is gonna give you happiness. Making the difference to another fellow human being.
Yes, yes.
That
You've
is what
got
I gonna give you happiness. And so I hope what I can see that you're a very happy person, because I think, in my opinion, that what you're teaching to your students, you are making a big. It's priceless, honestly.
it
What
makes me feel good.
those
I'll give you one more
techniques?
tip, one more big
Yes,
tip. Okay, so you know about learning. Most people
not
do.
not as you,
Most
but I
people,
know
when
about
they
the topic.
teach, they focus on what they're teaching. There's two that are missing in most teachers. Okay, one, how to remember what I just told you so you know it when you need it. That's one. But here's a big one: how to create the emotional state to do it right. So if you're
Absolutely.
shy, it's very hard to be a good entrepreneur and be shy. You're going to have very skinny children if you're an entrepreneur who's shy. Marketing isn't about shyness. Marketing is about putting yourself out there and feeling confident in what you do and competent at what you do. And you can't succeed in this world if you get nervous talking to people. You can't succeed in this world if you can't remember what you know because you get upset taking a test and you can't remember what you studied. So teaching the emotional skills for staying in the right state when you're doing what you were taught. So imagine I teach you to drive and you failed the test. Well, you know how to drive. Why did you fail? It was a test. I got nervous. What if I also
Exactly. Or
taught you
maybe
how to
you have
not
a
get
problem.
nervous?
Or maybe you have a problem at home. Sometimes you see in the company that
Yes,
they
yes,
firing the
yes.
people for the last week performance. How unfair.
Yes.
When to fire, or for the last month performance, that's how they fire people. How stupid is that? You don't know if that person have a with the family. You don't know. So probably
Yes.
most companies out there, they fire the wrong person for the wrong reason, based on that stupid statistic that, as you just described, it doesn't make sense, because you need to see further, what was the state. Yeah, like for example, Howard, when I give the conferences, the first thing that I do is to change the state of the audience, because when was last time that you learned something when you were sleepy, when you were tired, you just wake up, and you don't even know that person, yeah. Or like for example, this conference that we do in Latin America, sometimes we do corporate training. So the employees, they already know that the CEO already meet with us, with me and Lily, and already give us a list of everything that they don't want to do. And they know that they brought us to do a workshop, to do a training, to make them do what they don't want to do. So how do you think that this audience is at 8 a.m. when Lily and I will show up? They're like that, they're looking like, who's this idiot? So do you think that we can start a workshop like that with on that stage? So something very easy, that we very simple we do, we put some music, we raise them up to dance, we change the stage, lead them by leading, we start to deliver the content, because changing the state is, when exactly, when was the last time that you learned something when you were angry, or when you were tired, or when you have
Or
a
nervous,
different,
or
or
nervous,
nervous,
or
or
depressed.
sad, because someone
Yes,
family,
yes, yes.
family member is sick, or you worry for something else. There's no way that you can learn like this. Yeah,
No,
I
no. And
bet
they
I bet
teach
that
it.
you told me, Harry, 3 books in 3 hours, but I know that when you said, I'm gonna read, you're already happy, you're ready to go, and you're gonna go for it. You get yourself on stage. So Howard, the interview have been amazing, way better than what I was projecting. I think you're amazing. I think you're spectacular. I'm a big fan of the topic. I actually teach it all over the world. A few things that we discussed today, and I have given conference to professors in the school, and what we discussed today, because again, we need to do our best to make sure that all the students learn. However, Howard, the problem is that you have a minister, you have a how you should teach, and the professors and the school have to follow those guidelines. And if these guidelines, unfortunately, they are biased, and they are not designed for more than 100 years, or more than 150 years. Still look a car every last 100 years of a car. If I show you a picture of the car 100 years ago, and the car
Yes,
now,
yeah. They're not doing it
they
anymore.
look for another planet. They
It's the
look.
same thing they did 100 years ago.
Yeah, but in the school, the years pass, the years pass, the years pass. We see very, very little change, improvement in the learning techniques, and the tools are there. Why don't hire you? Why the government don't hire you and say, look, Howard, need that you do a tool for United States and give a conference to all
I'd love to
teachers and
do it.
show them. I would love to do it too. I talk about the topic a lot. Usually, I receive a big clap and do anything about it,
Well,
because I
maybe we
I
could do
arrived to the
something together. I
I
would love
arrived to
to.
the conclusion that I think that there is a system doesn't want us to do it. Higher force that want the system to be like that want know all the students to perform. That's why there is a book from Roy that says why students A work for students C. Because that's the other thing that happened after
Right.
everybody finished school. Now if somebody that was a student C decide that he's gonna learn to become an entrepreneur and start to read books, and this is the more easiest way of him to learn and things like that. Now he become a great entrepreneur, and now all the student A's that got high mark of the school, they all work for them, right? Which is proof again that everybody have the same. I'm a great that every human being have a huge and the same capacity for learn. regardless IQ and this and that. You can have some advantages, but they are not key to be successful. The problem is that we go to an education system that is already structured in a way that if you learn in a different way, if you're a visual like me and the whatever, you are already putting disadvantage, and you will think that you're not smart enough. Because I remember I I went to the high performance class, which is for the gifted. Yeah. I was in school, but in that school for the gifted, I was the worst. And they were telling me, "Oh, you're not smart enough." I was always the last five of the class. Like, man, it's same like everyone. Why is being so hard in compare? And then later, some years pass, and I start to teach this and to do the conference and to learn about this. I find out that there was nothing wrong with me. I just learned it a different way after a few
That's
years.
right.
But
That's
people
right.
never find out. People never find out. People think that they're not good enough, that they're not smart enough, that they should be, that they
Yeah.
deserve what they got. And that's sad because I find out honestly by accident. Because this
Well,
topic that we're talking about, very few talk about and very few people know about it, to be honest.
well, they need to know it's not about being smart at everything. It's being good at something. Paul
Hmm.
McCartney's good at songs. He's probably not good at physics. Who cares?
Absolutely.
Albert
Absolutely.
Einstein was good at physics. He didn't write songs. So they did what they did well. Now, Albert Einstein played for violin, but he wasn't as good as a professional. So to me, if you become good at something and you excel at one thing, that's all you need as an entrepreneur to live very well. It's nice to know more, but it isn't important that you know everything. You just need to know what you do so well, people will pay you money to do it. And then you have a good life. And school doesn't teach that. They make you think unless you're good at everything, you're good at nothing. And that's a mistake. They should be focusing on what makes you special and how to become better at that. And then make you adequate at more things, but at least become special at something, whatever it is.
So Howard, again, so where people can find more resources if they're in love with our conversation, they want to learn more about what
Sure.
you do.
I have a free book at howiebook.free about .fun, howiebook.fun, and I have another one which is Howie Live, howiereading.live, and that's it's where I teach them. And I'd love to stay in for you. Make sure you send me your email, and I'll set you up with my program so you can see what I'm
Absolutely.
doing, and let's see what we can do to help people together. I'm always looking to help more people, and if I meet someone who thinks like I do, that it's not just about money, it's about making it. The world's in trouble.
Yeah,
Nobody's saying there's
there are
too many smart people.
absolutely.
There's not too many smart people making too many good choices. We need
Mm-hmm.
people who can think, or we're not going to have a world. And so,
Absolutely.
if people like
Absolutely.
us help them to do better at what they do, they could solve. We can't solve all the problems, but we can make the people who can solve problems better at solving them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Howard. And for all of you following the Unstoppable broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneur like Howard break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.